The tight race for governor, the failed Wayne County Jail project turned criminal case, and is the end in sight for Detroit's bankruptcy? MiWeek starts right now.
Recently, Michigan's economy has begun to turn around. Michigan's gained over 250,000 new jobs. We've paid off $20 billion in long-term debt. And our population is increasing for the first time in a decade. But to make Michigan a top 10 state, there's still plenty of work to be done. Step up and help put Michigan on top. Learn what you can do at MichiganTurnaroundPlan.com.
Funding is also provided by Delta.
Hi there and welcome to MiWeek. We are so glad that you're joining us. I'm Christy McDonald. Big week this week. We are taking a look at the governor's race. What are the biggest issues voters are considering? We'll talk about it coming up. Plus, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan trying to convince City Council to accept the water deal. And how close are we to the end of the bankruptcy process? And finally, criminal charges in Wayne County, and it is all surrounding the failed jail. That is what's coming up for you on MiWeek. And we will start with a look at the race for governor. Joining me now are MiWeek contributors Nolan Finley of the Detroit News, Stephen Henderson of the Detroit Free Press, and as you can tell, they are not relaxing in lounge chairs this week. We have a new set. What do you think? And no, you don't look excited about it.
I am. It's a big boy set. I like it.
It's very
This looks
exciting.
like a pool to me. Like we could just all dive.
We can all dive in, but the one thing that we're going to be missing from now on, Stephen, is the view of your socks
Yeah,
that we actually saw every week.
They can see.
From the oh my gosh, I do see the
see.
green down there.
That's not all we're going to be.
Is that all we're going to be missing? Nolan always complained that he felt like he was sitting in the middle and that he was just swiveling back and forth.
We're not going to be able to see your shoes either.
Or my shoes. See, there you go. See, there you go. You win some, you lose some. All right.
Unless Steve wears them.
Wow. That would be a different show.
I was just going to say an entirely different reality show. All right. So speaking about you win some, you lose some, and races that are getting tight, let's talk about the governor's race and the fact that people are really now starting to focus on this. We know we've seen the polls that show it very tight, but I want to talk about mostly what are the most important issues that I think voters are considering now. What are people talking about, Stephen?
Well, people are still talking about the economy, and that was what Rick Snyder made the centerpiece of his campaign 4 years ago. That's why he won. He seemed to have a stronger, better view of how to manage the economy out of the slump it was in than Virg Bernero did. I think now people are asking, did he do enough? Are we far enough out of that slump, or could somebody else take us there faster? I still think that is the central issue, and I still think this campaign is really about Rick Snyder. It is a referendum on these first 4 years, not just the economy, but strongly that, but also some of the other things he's done that people have really not liked.
So is it basically the classic, Nolan, are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
Well, and of course the answer to that is yes, but I don't think that's what this campaign is all about. I don't even think it's about the economic issues you're talking about. I think it's about the perceptions of Rick Snyder. And he's allowed himself, he's allowed Mark Schauer to paint the impressions of him, to define him. The governor's response to the Schauer attack ads have been weak. His entire campaign has been sort of disjointed, not aggressive enough, not strong enough. The governor needs to stand out and say, here's where you were 4 years ago, here's where you are today, and here's where we're going. And that other guy, he'd take you back to where you were. And he's failed to do that effectively. His campaign ads have been as bad as any of I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This race should not be this close. An incumbent governor in a rising economy has never faced this sort of struggle getting reelected.
Well, and I think, again, you can look at some of the reasons that's happening. One is the pension tax, which, you know, at the Free Press, we supported the pension tax. We think that's as tax policy, it's good to broaden the base, make sure that everybody is paying their fair share. It's wildly unpopular, though, especially among seniors who are paying it. He's paying a price for that. He's also paying a price for right to work. People remember that from 2 years. It hasn't had much of an effect.
Shows that right to work is not.
It's not the only thing. But I think if you put all these things together,
hang on, let Stephen finish.
I think if you put all these things together, right to work, the caving he's done on abortion issues, the campaign finance stuff, if you put it all together, it sticks really well to him as a guy who, A, didn't deliver as much as he said he was going to deliver, but B, has done some really politically obnoxious things.
It sticks primarily because he's letting Shower tell the story. He's not stand up and say, this is why we did this and how it's worked. Right. Here's how you're going to be better off. Even this whole education spending cut nonsense, he's allowed that to basically go unaddressed in his own ads.
That's a really hard thing to explain.
But he's got an obligation to do it. He's also got to talk about how his paying down the pension debts of these local school districts is a huge benefit to the future. He keeps allowing himself to be defined by Mike Shower's advertising.
Let me ask you this. Will his going into Detroit and the whole bankruptcy process, does that reflect negatively on him?
Well, it depends on who you ask, right? I mean, the problem with that is one of the problems he has with a lot of things, which is that it's a really complicated issue. It doesn't boil down to very nice sound bites, and it plays differently depending on who you're talking to. Outstate, I'm not sure people are as impressed that he did this and spent a lot of money, a lot of outstate money in Detroit doing it through the grand bargain. I'm not sure that's something he wants to be
But didn't we see polls that people supported the grand bargain, and you see the state legislators, they were all in on it.
I think they do, but I don't think it moves the needle for him. And one of the interesting things about this campaign, if you look at the governor's numbers in January and the governor's numbers now, they have not moved a bit. All of the money that has been spent by his campaign on these ads, on all of the things he's done, he has not changed a bit. The only movement in the race has been Mark Shower, who started out with almost no name recognition and very little support, and has moved to within the margin of error. I think for the governor, that is the really scary thing, Steve, is that trend.
He still has relatively low name recognition at this, which again brings us back to this is all about the governor. One thing that has moved since the Detroit bankruptcy is the governor's job approval ratings. He took a surge. It's up quite a bit. He took a surge after the Detroit. No, he's at 52 in our last poll. So if his job approval ratings surged, but it didn't move the voter support for him, which his job approval is still much higher than, okay, I'm going to vote for him, which almost never happens. And it does, again, tell you he's not telling his story.
Okay, well, if we're talking about messaging and the fact that the governor then has to get out the word and everything that he has done from his vantage point. Now, he's talked about he's going to do a series of town halls going around the state. Is that the solution for him?
No, I mean, I don't think that makes that much of a difference. He would say these are, extemporaneous chances for him to get chatty with voters, but they come across as stilted and scripted. He needs to do a debate. We've been saying that for a long time with his opponent, where I think he could carve out that contrast and show that, look, here's what I did, here's why I did it, and tell us what you're going to do. That's the whole purpose of debates. And so far, we're not quite there yet.
He should be chomping at the bit to debate. I mean, he's a governor with an accomplished record. He's got a plan. He's passed things. He's got an agenda going forward. And he'd be standing next to a guy who's known only to voters by his campaign ads, in which he looks pretty good, but he's got no flesh behind the skeleton of his plans. And he's got no real answers when you answer the question, what would you do differently?
So why the hesitancy then?
Well, the hesitancy
from the governor's campaign, or why haven't we seen something?
I think it's mystifying. This campaign has not. I haven't been impressed
I'm not
with
sure Shower's
either.
All that eager to debate either, by the way.
Well, I mean, I think
there's been a lot of posturing.
My communication with the Shower folks has indicated that they are willing to go and debate anywhere at any time if the schedule.
Club debate.
But that's not a debate. But
it's a traditional forum. Candidates always show up to it.
They'll show up for that, but that's not a debate. I mean, I think it's
true.
Sort of a red herring to say, well, they haven't agreed to that. That's not what we need. What we need is, both of them on stage at the same time answering questions together.
All right, so speaking of debates, let's talk. We're finally seeing some movement for a U.S. Senate debate. The Terry Lynn Land's camp is saying, I think that we could agree to something. Nolan, what do you know on that?
Well, I think they are going to debate. I think they're going to do it on Channel 7. We tried to get them here and didn't get it, but still, they're going to debate, and takes that issue off the table for her. It was starting to be, oh, you're running and hiding, you're the stealth candidate. I think it's part of a campaign strategy. They've allowed the expectations of Terry Lynn Land's debate performance to drop so low that if she walks out there and doesn't faint, she wins.
So that was the plan all along, you think?
I think over the last, people say, well, she's not going to debate. She doesn't want to debate. And yet for the last several months, she's been doing debate prep. And she's been working with sitting down with experts on the issues to get prepared. They knew they were going to debate, but the expectations are now so low that she doesn't need such a grand performance to score points here.
Yeah,
Do you
well,
believe
she's
that?
gonna. Well, I mean, here, I think that is probably part of the strategy here. I think the problem is you've got a candidate who's very weak on substance. I mean, she's not going to be able to hold her own on a lot of issues with someone like Gary Peters, who's spent a lot more time. And no matter which of them you agree with, Gary's base of knowledge and experience is so much broader than Terry Lynn Land's that I think is going to be really difficult for her to come across even as an able competitor to him in that
I think you'll be
format.
surprised. I think she's been spending a lot of time on the prep. His risk is not coming across as arrogant, overbearing, a bully.
Absolutely.
And he has
He's
that
got to
tendency.
be.
Well, what does she have to do now? You say she's already been doing a lot of
she
prep.
has to, a low bar has been set for her. And
So she's just got to clear
so
it.
she's got a low bar to clear, but she does have to come off as informed and competent on the stage. She's got to give voters some confidence that she can do this job.
Do you think a debate with these two could make or break either candidate?
I don't think debates do that
Debates
anymore.
do that anymore.
Why
But-
not?
Well, because I mean, I think voters are first of all bombarded with so much
$50
other
million
information. I mean, you can't turn it's middle of September. You cannot turn the TV on at this
Yeah.
point and not see campaign ads between every program. So I mean, you think about that, growing from now till through October. Voters just have so much more information at the ready at this point, good or bad. A lot of it's just junk, white noise. But
A debate can break you. I
Well, if
think.
you do
if you get up there
really
and people
poorly.
say, "Whoa."
Well, and I think it also could give a bounce or a little bit of momentum, and
It can.
especially if
It
it's this
can.
one debate and there's been made so much about the fact that how could she perform, and if she does extremely well,
This is going to be a
could
limited.
close the gap a little bit. Do you think?
This is going to be a limited view debate. Not everybody in the state's going to have access to it or see it. She could. I mean, you could close the gap. I'm not sure what the gap is at this point. The polls are all over
They're
the place.
kinda-
It's a
they're
tight
looking at like a
race.
6,
It's a tight
7.
race, so it's important. I think.
It's important.
It's important for
she's
each
gotta do
candidate
well.
to meet their expectations
Right.
in the debate.
Right. She can't get out there and have
She can't do what she did on
this
Mackinac.
freaky stage
Absolutely.
fright thing
No.
that she's experienced a couple times. That can't happen. But she does have to. She's got to show that she understands the issues.
breadth of knowledge.
The Senate is not the House, and it's not a state office. I mean, it is the place where really serious policy debates take place. I don't know that she's proven that she's really in the company of those
either
of those
candidate's
folks.
proven that.
Well, I think Gary.
I mean, it's
All right.
also a place where you expect independence, and this guy's not shown independence a single day
that's
since
not
he's
true.
been involved.
So, all right, now, so hang on. So, what are the key issues you think that it's going to make this race?
The Senate race.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think experience is going to matter a lot for Gary Peters. He's been in 3 consecutive very tough races, and they all looked like around September, early October that he would lose. He turns it around. He gets it
He
together.
didn't lose all of them. He didn't win all of them. I mean, he
Well,
lost 2 statewide races.
He lost the state races, but since he's been in Congress, he's faced incredible races.
He's won
each
district
time.
races. He's tried a couple of times at statewide races
And not gotten it.
lost them, and those were close races. I think he's also got likability issues. Even people in his own party are not all that wild about Gary Peters. He's got to address that issue, particularly if she can overcome the competence concerns.
Yeah.
All
She's
right.
not a warm fuzzy either, but
Okay, so we're talking
West Michigan.
We're talking a little bit about personality traits here. I wanted to, in the last 40 seconds that we have left, issue-wise, that they're going to have to address
in the
Senate race.
I mean, I think the healthcare still keeps coming up, and Gary Peters got to take control of that and make it clear why he did what he did and why it's working or why he thinks it's working. I think for Terry Lynn Land, it's proving that she has command of the issues, the many issues, especially foreign policy, that come up in the Senate.
And Barack
Last 20
Obama is an
seconds.
issue in this race, as it is in every race across the country. The president's popularity is dropping. Peters has done nothing to distance himself from the administration, from the White House. That may be a risky play for him. He's tied himself to Obamacare, and he's tied himself to the president.
He voted against some of the things that
might not play well.
He's got some votes that he can bank on that showed he was willing to do different things, go a different way.
He has stood with the president, and I think that's going to be an issue in the campaign.
Turning now to Wayne County and the far-reaching impact of the failed jail project in downtown. Criminal charges this week against the county's chief financial officer, county attorney, and a former county employee. All around the contracting and building of that new jail, the $300 million project went drastically over budget, has been stopped. This is just another set of Wayne County officials caught up in indictments. And while this isn't part of the federal corruption probe into the county, sure doesn't look good. Has there been another county administration, not city, where we've seen something like this? Nolan, I'm going to let you take first crack at this one.
Well, I mean, this jail is still the issue's not settled. I'm not sure Barb McQuaid's probe is done yet on this, but setting aside the criminal investigation, we've still got to figure out what to do with this unfinished jail. And they've spent about half of their $300 million bond money already. It's going to take another $300 million to finish the thing if they decide to finish it, or they can move it over to the former state jail on Mound Road in Detroit and create a criminal justice complex with courts and jails and keep everything out of downtown. And there seems to be a determination in the county, or at least still a desire, to sort of double down on their losses. We've got to come to the acceptance that $150 million is gone. We've wasted it. And now what's the right thing to do for downtown and for the county?
And would it cost about $300 million to outfit the Mound facility, though?
No, no, it's more than that.
It's more than that, and that that project has a lot of problems, right? The whole idea of a centralized criminal justice center is sort of undercut by the lack of freeway access over there. It's not centrally located. I'm not sure that works, and there are people raising real questions about that. I mean, I think the best thing for the criminal justice aspect of this is probably to finish the jail downtown, but then that has development implications that we have to deal with. I mean, we sort of are in a bad situation where there are not a lot of clean or good choices.
I think that's the worst option, Steve, because now you're locking in jails there, courts there.
And been there for 100 years.
And for 100 years, downtown has not been where it's at today. And the downtown, the available real estate downtown, the footprint downtown is not that great. You're boxed in by freeways. And this is the eastern entrance of downtown. It's going to be the first look a lot of people get at downtown. And there's developers out there who say, hey, that would be a great entertainment district. If you redevelop that site, if you just ate the loss, said, look, we got to write this off, this was bad management.
But where are you going to put the jail then?
I think you still can make Mound Road work.
I think
but
that's
if you eat the losses here and say we're going to turn that into an entertainment district, now you've got taxes, you've got jobs. The long-term payoff from that is great. Do we really want to lock in another 50 years to having the criminal justice system right in the heart of downtown?
Unfortunately, you got into that problem when someone made that decision in 2010, not too far ago, to make the decision to put the jail there.
Someone made that decision in like 1890. It's always been
right.
there.
But I'm saying to continue it and to put a new facility there.
This is a whole new jail.
It's a new jail,
and you commit then when the courts need building, which they will soon. You commit to building those there, so you can't get out of this now. This is a chance to get out of this. Just because we put them there in the first place, Steve, doesn't mean they belong there. This is a chance to get out of there and use this prime piece of downtown development to continue the rebirth and regrowth.
They belong there because if you go to any city in America, the Central Criminal Justice Center is somewhere close to downtown. There are good reasons. The court, the jail,
but not the jail.
The jail in Chicago, it's inside the loop. But in New York, it's downtown.
Chicago has a much larger downtown footprint. It can absorb something like this. Detroit's available downtown footprint is fairly locked in and fairly small.
I'm not sure that it makes sense to move it. Again, from a criminal justice perspective, I think access to those buildings and getting people easy access to those buildings is sort of the paramount concern, and I'm not sure Mound Road satisfies
At
it.
Mound Road, you consolidate all that. Everything's is going to be
But how do
within
you get
walking
there?
distance. I mean, Mound and 7 Mile is not exactly a remote.
It's not that close to a
remote
freeway.
location. I mean, it's not that far
east
from it.
side.
I don't think you're not talking about truck traffic.
All right,
I think
logistics.
It'll be easy.
Logistics aside, this is the one thing that the new Wayne County executive coming in, which if the voting goes the way we anticipate, it's going to be Warren Evans. What does he have to do?
Well, you've got to take control of this and make a decision, right? I mean, the worst thing that's happened now is just the indecision, that's sort of back and forth about should we build this jail here? Should we move it to Mound? Time to some extent is money at this point, and you've got to get this done. I mean, the limbo is part of the problem, and some of that has to do with Ficano and his weakness, his political weakness because of all the scandals. Evans won't have that hanging over his head. He's got to move this forward.
Well, I think they should put together a task force, which they haven't done yet, and say what's the best option for downtown. Bring in everybody who has a stake in this. Bring in the courts. Bring in the private businesses. You can't get private businesses to locate in that area anymore, and there's developable property all around that's going to waste. So you bring in the county and the state, because the state's going to play a huge role in this,
With
and
the
say,
jail
let's
there,
figure this out and how do we do it?
With
Well-
the jail there, we've built a casino to the south. We've built 2 stadiums
Way to the south.
north.
PWC
the gem
left
is
because
right there.
You've had businesses pulling out because
I don't think
it's
they're pulling out
an
because of the
undesirable
jail.
location. Of course they are. They'll tell you that.
All right, but you know what? I think we can all agree on there needs to be a timeline, because if you're going to get a task force together and you're going to have to start to make these decisions, it's got to happen
And
in
it should
some
be
kind
a
of
short
timely
timeline.
fashion.
There's no reason they couldn't do this in
Because that's,
30,
let's put it
40
this way, it's
days.
an ugly eyesore. All right, now to Detroit's bankruptcy, that deal with Syncora and plans for a regional water authority. Mayor Mike Duggan presented the water plan to Detroit City Council this week. Not everyone was thrilled with it. So I want to start with the water plan, because also they're talking about it in Oakland County, and it's going to come up in about 2 weeks. They're going to have to vote on this. Stephen, let me start with you on that.
Yeah, well, this is the deal that everybody just has to take. It's not the best thing for anybody. I mean,
Sounds like the entire bankruptcy process.
Right. I mean, Detroit would probably have preferred to get $50 million that it could do anything with a year out of this deal. The suburbs would probably not want to pay that $50 million. The truth is, the system needs new management. It needs new investment. This is the best deal on the table, and from here it only gets worse. I mean, if you let the bankruptcy judge decide on his own what to do, it won't look like this, I don't think, and we won't have as much control of the system going forward.
More palatable for the suburbs, Nolan, because the money that the suburbs are investing in this is going to go directly to infrastructure of the water and sewer department.
Yeah, partly, but also because the money is going to be found through efficiencies in the system and refinancing the debt, so there won't be a net increase in what suburban customers pay. I think it's telling that Brooks Patterson, who is a vigilant defender of the interest of his residents, signed off this deal, and happily so. He says it's a good deal for his people. It gives the suburbs a greater voice, all customers in the system, a greater voice than they have now. It ends sort of the corruption and the mismanagement, or potentially does, that has plagued this system for decades, and puts it under professional management. Everybody should benefit long term. Over the long haul, rates should actually be more reasonable because you have better, more efficient management. I think it's the best deal you could have hoped for.
City Council, there's some members though that they're not too fond of this deal. They have a point.
Well, you can take issue with things in this deal. The question though is, what's the alternative? Is the alternative better or is it worse? And there's no question here that any alternative that would be on the table in court would put the city at a much greater disadvantage. My understanding is that privately, all the council members say, I think this is a good deal. The question is whether they can come out in public and vote for it and feel like there's not going to be some blowback.
But we go through this every time. People always say, well, gosh, Brooks and Heckle, they're the obstacles to regionalization. We go through this with the city council every time. And if you look at the things we've done to date, they've all worked. Cobo Center is working wonderfully.
Cobo Center is working very well.
And other regional efforts we've done working well. And yet every time we got to go through this little dance of, well, we don't want to give away some, but we don't want to do this. This is better for the city of Detroit as well. They're going to get their water system fixed. That's
a huge advantage that people aren't really recognizing, is that everyone who's a customer of the system is a victim. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to because we haven't invested in it the right way, and this would fix that.
And there's going to be money to help people pay their bills.
Right.
Okay, with 30 seconds we have left, I want to address Syncora. Is the lesson here that if you complain loud enough and drag out long enough that you might get a little something that you want?
Well, I mean, they got a better deal than they were first offered. I don't know how much better it is. I mean, I think they were feared they were in danger of going bankrupt themselves if they didn't get enough off of what the city owes them. It's an improvement. I'm not happy about the tunnel part of this. I think that's 20 years into the future. I wouldn't have put that in there. But other than that,
10 seconds, Nolan.
It's interesting. They're forced to not only do they get some money, but they still lose 75% of what they were owed. But they're forced, or this deal structured so that they invest in downtown as well. And I think that's a positive thing.
All right, and we'll continue to watch the bankruptcy process as we're kind of rolling towards the end here.
Almost over.
Yeah, and that is going to do it for My Week. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, you can always go to MiWeek.org, share this show with video on demand, plus find us on Facebook and Twitter. We're pretty social during the week, so make sure you're part of the conversation there. Also, for all things election 2014, head to myvote.org. And for all of us at Detroit Public Television, I'm Christy McDonald. We will see you next week for My Week.
Recently, Michigan's economy has begun to turn around. Michigan's gained over 250,000 new jobs. We've paid off $20 billion in long-term debt. And our population is increasing for the first time in a decade. But to make Michigan a top 10 state, there's still plenty of work to be done. Step up and help put Michigan on top. Learn what you can do at MichiganTurnaroundPlan.com.
Funding is also provided by Delta,